Hello, Ken.
We're live. All right. Excellent.
We are live. We will get this down before we know it. My name is Ryan Belmore. I'm the owner and publisher of What's Up Noop.
I'm Ken Abrams, music writer and lifestyle editor at What's Up Noop. Great to have you with us tonight.
And Ken, what do we, tell us about your What's Up in Local Music series before we dive right in, because we've had a busy week with that series.
We are. That series is growing. We've had several guests on What's Up in Local Music. We started off last month with Mark Cutler, Allison Callery. I had a nice chat with the two of them, both mainstays in the local music scene. And we also are featuring, this time of year, of course, we're getting a little festive and we're featuring Christmas music. So we have a great jazz album that we'll be on with tomorrow night, actually, talking about Mike Renzi and Jim Porcella, who we had on the other day, talking about their Christmas Is album. And tonight, we're going to be talking about Christmas music and more, of course, with the one and only Dan Blakeslee.
How you doing, guys? Ryan and Ken, great to see you.
Great to see.
I realized my Santa coffee mug has a leak in it. I just discovered that. So I'm gonna have to drink this cocoa quick.
Well, it's 2020, so of course it has a leak in it, right?
I know.
What else can go wrong? You know, we got a few more weeks to get through. But things are going okay for Dan, though. I can see, at least based on what a lot of your fans are seeing, you got a new album. By the way, your poster on the Newport Folk Festival, your calendar poster, I should say, has officially sold out.
That is amazing.
It's sold out. Yeah.
Oh my God!
I just went to the site, and it is labeled as sold out. I don't know how many copies. Do you know how many you had up there?
We did 300 streams of it.
That's great. Congrats.
Yeah.
There are very few products that sell out at the Folk Festival. Julie Rhodes T-shirts did sell out.
I know, those are amazing, right?
Yeah, we were too late. We were late on the buzzer on that one, so we didn't get that. But for those who don't,
upstairs with me doing the T-shirts.
Definitely. For those who don't know, Dan has done a lot of work with the Newport Folk Festival, not only as a performer but as a graphic artist as well. You've done how many posters have you done for them? Several.
I think 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's great. Now, tell us a little bit about, actually, why don't we talk about the new release first?
Sure.
The Christmas album, which I guess you recorded, I was reading, about a year ago, and finally has been released this month. Tell us a little bit about how that came about, what songs, how you dealt with song selection, things like that.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to. I've been writing Christmas songs for my family for years as gifts, and like being an artist with a meager income, I'm like, hey, what can I get them that's special and unique? So I write songs, and I've been collecting these songs for about 10 years. And every single December, it's just there's too much going on in December to possibly pull together a recording session. And I want to do it with my band. And that's like a very important thing. And it was 5 days before Christmas, 2019. And I thought I was going to explode with this energy. I'm like, I can't contain it anymore. So I called a friend of mine, studio engineer friend. He said he has 5 hours left before Christmas, and I can get in there and start recording. So I was so overjoyed to go in there, start recording, and then my band came in soon after, and we wrapped up the sessions with snow on the ground, and there was snow for every session, and it was just such an amazing experience, and. The songs are a mix of ones that I've written, and then some covers too. So there's 6 cover songs, and there's 7 originals on there.
How do you write a Christmas song? I mean, we all know the covers, and a cover Christmas album is bound to be a hit. We all know that if it's done well. But how do you write a Christmas song, a seasonal Christmas song in the 21st century?
It's you. I mean, a lot of them are based on true stories or things I kind of dream up. I mean, one of them, I found a Christmas tree in the trash, on Christmas Eve, a year that I couldn't afford to buy a Christmas tree. I'm like, oh my God, I'm bringing this home to my roommates, and they were so excited because we have a Christmas tree, you know? And I'm sure the person who threw it out was probably going on vacation or something like that, but I was so excited to like have this tree. And I had gone out for a walk on Beacon Hill in Boston, just kind of like checking out like decorations and things, and I found that tree, and I was like, hey man, all right. And there's
sounds like Charlie Brown, you know, and
right.
there it is. Bring it home. That's wonderful.
Yep.
So that's a great topic for a song, no question about it.
Right.
You've done my notes, just my iPhone decides to shut off, of course. The album, I was noticing as I listened to it, has a very sort of rootsy, old-time feel to it. But it's fresh as well. I mean, I think that's
cool.
Yeah. And that's basically the style that you've been performing in for many years. For those people that don't know you in our viewership here, can you tell us just a little bit of summary of your career and music, where you got started, and you know where you're going?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm in South Berwick, Maine, and I had moved back home after art school when I was like 21, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I was working at a lobster restaurant for many years, and I came back for my 8th season at the lobster restaurant, and my boss wouldn't let me come back to work there, and he said, "You're supposed to be out there playing music," and I'm like, "What? I'm the best worker you have," and I was a really good worker, and I was like so like blown away by that. And he said, "Here's the situation: you can come back and work here the days that you can't book shows, like odd days of the week. So book as many shows as you can throughout the whole summer. We'll fill up your other days by working here." So that was like initially like a good push for me to start playing music. So I was playing on the street corners and playing in a couple of venues, but then I moved to Boston with a grade school friend of mine, and he said, "You got to move down here and play music in the subway." So I started playing the subway stations, and I did that for years until like, you know, I had enough songs to actually perform like an hour and a half long show or something. And so then I started kind of like, you know, getting out there more. And then eventually I got a band together after years and years. And yeah, so here I am.
You are, yeah. Now, did you say, Ryan, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can't fail to mention that, you know, many people may be recognizing you from busking, you performing out at Fort Adams.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, I mean, I've always been a street busker, and man, if I could do it during this pandemic, I would do it. But I feel like anytime that I have done it, people start gathering, and I'm like, man, I kind of feel bad now, you know. It actually happened in Newport, actually early on during the quarantine, like maybe late April. I was hanging in Newport. I was getting some late night food to go, and I was sitting in the park eating it. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, man, I want to break out my guitar and play a couple songs. So I started breaking out my guitar. All of a sudden, like all these people started to gather like, oh my God, we haven't seen live music since, you know, early March. And it was really an amazing experience. But I've always been a street performer. I get, you know, it's not everyone's cup of tea as they're walking by you, but sometimes you're really capture someone, you know. And there was this one time I was playing in the subways of Boston, and I was playing 5 hours, like 5 hours. I used to play like 6 or 7, but that day I did 5. And I was like, man, I was getting ready to pack it up, and I'm like, nah, no one's really listening. It's getting kind of late. And from the other side of where I was playing, there was a guy that was living on the streets, and he was in the subway, and he goes, I've been lying down here for the last 3 hours listening to every single note. He said, thank you so much for taking me out of the world that I'm living in. I was like, that is the best tip I've ever gotten in my entire life. I was like, that's so cool. Like someone like stopped and really listened and really got into it, you know? So, but yeah, I love and miss, of course, you know, busking for the for the people at Newport Folk Festival taking the ferry back downtown, etc. But those days will be back.
Oh, let's hope so.
Yes.
That's a huge, I mean, of course it's an honor and it's an important role at Newport. They don't just have performances on stage. I mean, you've been seen all over the fort inside and at the children's tent and sort of popping up in all those places. And I know that it's to some degree scripted, of course. It's, they don't just let anybody come in and start playing.
Right.
It creates a sort of a unique niche for you. And just a few other artists that sort of get that permission to do that, I guess.
Right. And Brian Minto, who runs the museum stage, was super sweet. I have my guitar on me just because I always have it with me. I don't want to leave it in the car. So I'm walking around and I'm in the museum stage, and he goes, "You're playing in 5 minutes." I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, "After this next song is done, you get right up in the middle and you start playing. You play 2 songs until the next performer starts." I'm like, "Brian, it's like, I don't want to, He goes, 5 minutes, you're doing it." And I'm like, "Okay." So
that's great.
Thank you to him for always like nurturing that spirit too. You know what I mean? Because stuff like that does happen there. I've seen it before too. Not just with me, but with like some of the main stage performers. They'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna do 2 songs like somewhere."
That stuff is spontaneous. Absolutely. That's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Dan, I saw one of those magical moments. I think it was in 2018, and it was actually a Newport Jazz Festival, and I ran into you, and you had taken your dad to the festival, and just
Oh.
you were just on cloud 9. So it wasn't your father, and it's just the magic of Newport.
Right. And it was the first time he had been to the Newport Jazz Festival. It was the first time I had been, and I've always been like such a jazz guy. My dad's a jazz piano player, and I grew up listening to it. And Brittany was really sweet from Newport Folk Festival. She had come to a show that I was doing with my brother and my dad in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and she said, "How come you never told me your dad is a jazz musician?" And she's like, "I'm getting you guys a day into the jazz festival." And it was mind blowing, and it was downpouring like crazy, in which I'm sure you remember. And man, it was like life changing. Like that's always my favorite weekend of the year, is going to Newport Folk Festival. It just has this, I'm just like constantly inspired everywhere I go by people I see, conversations, things I hear, and just the scene itself, and I'm just like honored to be part of that family.
For sure. We sometimes joke, of course, the folk festival is everything, to us Newporter fans of Newport, but jazz is also special, very special.
Oh my God.
And I've been talking to so many folk people about, you really should go to jazz, especially the days where they don't sell out. I mean, they sell out a lot of jazz as well.
They're weekend and weekend. Like, it's not used to be like more spread apart.
Way back, sure, back in the day, yeah. And there's no reason why. I mean, they're both forms of American roots music. Most of the folk fans would certainly appreciate jazz, and it's even a little more of a sort of a chill atmosphere. Sometimes folk can get a little overwhelming when it gets hot and the crowds, it's great fun, but it can be a lot. Jazz tends to be a little more mellow in many ways. So, it definitely has an appeal, I think, to a lot of musicians for sure. And fans, What? Let me see what else I wanted to talk to you about here, Sarah. We talked about. Oh, I hear you have a gig. Go ahead.
Wait, what? What'd you say, Ryan?
Where best way for people to pick up your Christmas album is it your website?
It's actually, my website got hacked a week ago, right? The day before releasing the album, so the website was unavailable for like 4 or 5 days. It's almost up all the way. So I would say go to Bandcamp and just look up Dan Blakeslee on Bandcamp. And that's where you can get like a proper download with you can stream it or download it. And I like how I said download it instead of download it, whatever. But this one you get the artwork and things like that are they're really essential to the album. I got one right here. Want to see it?
Please.
Oh, it's in the plastic wrap.
There you go. There you go.
There it is. Oh, there we go. Okay, wait. Yeah, it's reversed. It's driving me crazy.
Christmas Land Jubilee.
Anyway.
It is on the Bandcamp. I noticed your website wasn't fully updated, but that explains it. You got hacked. And I understand you.
Yeah, I was a pill pusher pharmacy for about a week.
Wow.
But I'm not now.
You're not what? You're not now.
But I'm not now.
Gotcha. You have a release party though coming up. I see in New Hampshire.
Yes. Yeah. I got asked.
A real gig.
So there is a this longtime pal of mine that I hadn't seen in years, and he used to do sound at University of New Hampshire, and he was a student there, and like still wanted to this day of all the places I played, he's still one of my very top favorite sound guys, and he happened to be in the studio when I was doing the mix down for the album, and you know, he was giving me some really good advice, and he was sitting there listening to the whole thing, and he said, "Hey, I really want you. I know it's weird during the pandemic, but I really want to figure out how to get you a show this year for an album release." And he had put together a couple shows at the Stone Church in Newmarket, New Hampshire, and they're doing their outdoor series, and so I'm going to be doing the show outdoors with heater lamps everywhere, and I bet I'll wear a Santa suit to keep warm or something.
December outdoor shows. Who
yeah, right? Why not?
A year ago. Why not? That's going to be great. We're
going to have hot cocoa.
Oh, totally. Hot cocoa, and with a little something poured in for those who so choose. It's outdoors. I'll be playing your the CDs cuts from the album as well on my radio show, WRIU, Tuesday nights. And I'll share with some of the other DJs as we get closer to Christmas, especially. You hear more and more Christmas music. So I've got several local artists lined up, and you're definitely going to be part of that going forward in perpetuity. So you'll be, we'll have you on the radio for sure. And no, it's a lot of fun. The CD, folks, I strongly recommend you pick it up. It's a great way to support local artists right now. And it's a fun thing to have for the Christmas season. You can download it and you got it. You can download it. No, download it. And you got it.
Either way.
There you go. I will remind people over the air of that as well. Dan, it's great. You are from Maine. You've lived in Boston, but it's great to have you in the Providence area here in Rhode Island.
I love it here. This city, I've been charmed by it for many years. My friend William Schaff, a local artist and musician, he was the one after art school, he moved here. And so I started coming here and playing shows here like 24 years ago. And so I got to know like a bunch of the like local cats like Death Vessel and all these other acts. So I've been playing down here for years and just have been meaning to make the move down here. And I finally found a great spot, and my friend is the landlord.
It's great. No, that's great. It is the creative capital, the creative city, Providence.
It is.
Creative types, musicians, artists, and we're not as big as Boston, but we rival Boston, no doubt, in the terms of the quality of our artists and such. So it's great to have you.
Right.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
Dan, Jen sends her love and says hello. And
tell her the same, please.
Yes, I will. It's funny, every time we're in a liquor store or anywhere up north and we see that beer can, she goes, "I know who drew it." Can you just
the heady topper?
Yeah, can you just share maybe that story and how you got involved in art?
Yeah. I was it was kind of crazy. So one of my favorite cities to tour to and hang out in is Burlington, Vermont. And usually when I play a show there, like non-pandemic times, I stay and hang out for like 3 or 4 days if I can, And so I was up there for a couple days, and I was making artwork, doing a show poster of mine in a cafe called Muddy Waters. And I was sitting there in the cafe, sitting in the window, and I noticed this guy was like at the next table. He kept looking over. He's sitting with his niece, and he said to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to open up a brewery, and I would love for you to, make a coaster." That was the first thing. So I made a coaster for them, and then he had said, "Hey, I have this really special beer that I'm brewing. That's like, it's I feel confident." He wasn't like overly confident about it, but he definitely knew he had something special, which I think is amazing. And every time I would go through Burlington, I would stop into his brewery and visit him. He was always like in the, in where the brew tanks are, like tinkering with this, recipe. And then he finally wrote to me, he goes, "I got it. This is it. Can you do the art?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And so I did the artwork for Heady Topper, and little did either one of us know that it would be like one of the top rated beers in the country. And it's kind of funny, as I not being a beer drinker, I don't drink alcohol. So it's like, I still don't know what it really tastes like. So, although,
Ryan will sample it for you.
Wait a minute. I got to tell you, I was at a party with a bunch of friends of mine pre-COVID, and someone wanted me to take my picture with the beer going like this, like on the, on the label. So I did it, and there was a little bit of beer in there. So I did get, my tongue got a punch from the beer. It was very potent, very flavorful, robust.
I wonder, is it available in Rhode Island? A lot of those microbreweries are not, but I wonder if you can find it.
I'm pretty sure that they did announce that they're available in Massachusetts, so maybe Attleboro, Seekonk. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's one of the most popular beers in the country and one of the hardest beers to get for sure. Of course, we're talking about Heady Topper, Alchemist, and just one of the toughest. But I always find that story so fun and good for them for finding a local artist. You see a lot more breweries doing that these days. Ragged Island does it. Yeah, and a lot of breweries are starting to do that. So it's cool to see art finding new places to be displayed.
Right. And there's a friend of mine started this project called The Art of the Can, and basically it's a beer label art. You know what I mean? And he had a gallery exhibition, and it was all beer label artists, and it was so cool to see all these beers that I've recognized and see the little sketches they started with and how they built that label up. And it was like amazing to see that, because I do the same thing. It's funny, whenever I buy like beer from my dad or my brother or my mom or whoever for like, a gift for like a birthday or Christmas or like whatever, I do it based on the art, because I've never had alcohol in my life. So I don't know. I just, I bought my dad this crazy looking beer label, and he said, "Wasn't the best beer." And I was like, "But wasn't the label great?" And you didn't have to pay for it.
You just have to get the beer can to play your Christmas music, and you'll be all set.
Right.
Somehow get a little album inside the beer can, and you'll be all set.
Exactly.
I was just are you listening, Narragansett? Foolproof Revival. Are you listening? Okay.
Right.
We've got some good talent right here in state. So dig deep. No, anyway, it's a growing industry in the state. That's why we bring it up. We're covering beer. I've been doing reviews, and the brewery industry is booming. I mean, it's
right. And Narragansett, like labels over the past like X amount of years have been brilliant, mind blowing. Like, I'm really like knocked out by the great art that they have, on their labels. It's really inspiring.
Vintage stuff, absolutely.
Yeah.
Over the years, totally. Cool.
Dan, what other music is available on the website for people to pick up? I have a copy of the Alley Walker behind me here.
Yeah, I saw that. You're very sweet, Ryan. The Alley Walker. There it is.
I've got this.
Oh, no. Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
What other music can people find on your website?
Actually, most of everything is on Bandcamp. I only have 2 albums on Spotify. I have, some things on Apple Music and Amazon, like here and there. But since Bandcamp is always been that one for whatever reason. That's my favorite place to discover music. And I like how like they have you can like bands can put up their merch shop in there and everything. And so most of my catalog is on there, but I've released 10 full-length albums in my life, but I think there's only 7 full-length albums on there. So there's a few that are missing. There's little missing pieces, but there's also some things that I've never actually fully, made like physical albums of that are on there too, like some demo stuff. So that'd be the place, Bandcamp.
I love that album you did at the prison, Laconia Prison, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool album.
That's like the bizarre thing about that. Well, I mean, it's not that bizarre, but so a friend of mine, she's a musician, Laurel Bronze. Her mom worked at the prison, and they were doing one show a year. And her mom asked us, it was like a year and a half beforehand. So we had to wait like a year and a half to like do the show. And it's kind of crazy. I had never heard Johnny Cash's live at like Folsom up until that point, which just seems nuts because I'm sure I've heard it at some point or whatever. And now I have like 30 Johnny Cash albums like in my apartment. I'm like an addict. But the day that we were going to play, it was 15 minutes before we were about to perform. And I was like, man, I wish I had equipment to record this thing. I'm like, oh my God, I have a handheld recorder in my car right now. But the thing is, I didn't have any way. I didn't have monitors. I didn't have headphones to see whether or not it even came through. And then I recorded it, the hour-long performance or whatever, and then I packed it up back in the car and forgot about it for whatever crazy reason. And I was in between albums trying to figure out what to do, and I was listening to that the device, and I found that recording. I'm like, what? I can't believe I had never listened back to it to see if it came out. So it was kind of like a spontaneous thing.
No, it's that sort of raw field recording feel, which really I think that really makes it, and you can feel the emotion and power to that music. So it's a nice little find. That's what's great about Bandcamp too, is you can put those things up that a record company might not want to pick up, but but those things, if you're a fan, recommended it. Bandcamp's been great for so many local artists. They run sales every month now where the artists get a percent of the revenue. And they're very artist friendly, I think, is what many people are saying. Yeah.
I think it's artist friendly, like online musical platform out there.
Right.
I think. I mean, there's. I'm sure there's other ones that I don't know of, that I'm discovering. I mean, when I did the album PR through CD Baby for them to like. Push it out to like, Apple Music and Spotify and all this stuff. I went through their list. I'm like, who the hell are all these people? I didn't recognize half of the names that are on there just because I don't love spending a lot of time online. I'd rather be playing music, doing artwork or something like that. But I mean, lately I've had to just because everyone has to, and so I feel like now's the time to familiarize myself with it very well, So,
All right, Dan, what else have you got for us? Anything else you'd like to add? Message out to your fans, or
gee whiz, I
got one more question that might help them.
I'm ready.
Best way to support local artists, local musicians during this time of COVID.
Oh man. Like buy directly through them, like through Bandcamp or whatever, through their website, buy like I find that around the holidays, I spend very, very, very little time like going to big stores. I don't buy any. I've bought 3 things from Amazon in my entire life. I usually go downtown. I'll go to the hardware store. I go to Adler's Hardware on in Providence, and I'm like, hey, someone needs a flashlight, battery, like whatever, for whatever reason. And then also like support my artist friends through Etsy, through their Etsy stores. and online as much as possible. So that's my, and get gift certificates for local bookstores and restaurants and things like that to help them, especially to help them get through this time that we're in, So it's important. It's like we've lost some amazing spots, and it's like we don't want to lose anymore. We've already been down that road too many times this year. So yeah, definitely buy local if at all possible.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Great. Well, Dan, thank you so much for spending time with us this evening.
Sure.
We'll put this up on the website and put some social media links on it so people want to watch the interview. And we're scrolling your Bandcamp at the bottom as well. And you're giving us a tour.
I'll give you a little tour.
Yep. Let's see. We got some cloths there, some figurines.
We got Rudolph. We got more Santas. Oh man.
I think Christmas might be your favorite holiday.
I even have an audience today. I've got
shirts.
Holly. That's Holly. A mannequin. And then we got Santa over there. It's
Chris Cass from Newport wanted to know why he hated Christmas so much. That was his question. So
Wait, what was?
He wanted to know why you hated Christmas. That was his kidding, but that's great. You're really feeling your new release, and let's hope and pray that we'll see you at Newport in 7-8 months now, so it's not that far off.
Oh my God!
Some form of the folk festival, but
Absolutely.
definitely on the street. If we have to do social distance concerts, we all of us fans are looking forward to next summer. We'll figure out a way, but we'll be there.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Dan. All right. We will talk to you soon, my friend.
Be safe and healthy. All right.
All right. That is Dan Blakeslee, and you can get his album again at danblakeslee.bandcamp.com. You can check out all of his music, download the tunes, buy the tunes, support local music. And we're going to keep this going again tomorrow night there, Ken.
Correct. Our guest is Neil Weiss from Whaling City Sounds. And Whaling City is a cool boutique jazz label in Bedford. So a lot more about that. If I'm still connecting some messages here, we'll see you tomorrow at 7.
All right. We will see you then. And on behalf of Ken Abrams, as myself, as well as all of us here at What's Up Newp, I want to thank Dan Blakeslee for joining us. Always a good time. We could chat all night if we had the time. And danblakeslee.bandcamp.com, some good old Christmas music there. You can stop, maybe check out some of his other music that's available. And another thing we didn't get to, but perhaps you want him to perform for you. He does virtual concerts as well as he does art. So check it all out. And his website is right at the bottom. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 with another musician. And tomorrow at 3:30, we'll have another author. So we're keeping up with the arts, the books, the music this week here on What's Up Newp. Thanks for